Hey guys, what is going on? Benny here and welcome back to a brand new video. And today we're talking about my personal experience with the Canon 1DX Mark II for the last 2 years. Hope you enjoy.
Whoa, kill every ghost I can see. Whoa, but you're still haunting me.
I've had my Canon 1DX Mark II for over 2 years now and it's an absolute beast. I couldn't speak more highly of it. I bought it because I was doing motorsport photography at the time. I was doing real estate photography full time as well, so I had the coin there to buy it when it first came out and it just looked absolutely unreal, so I had to. I was shooting racing cars in Australia and I needed both photo and video to accommodate what I was doing. I shot in rain, I shot in thunderstorms, I shot in 40-degree Australian heat, and this thing never let me down. It was so good. You know, other photographers were there with 5D Mark IIIs with, bin bags over the top of the cameras. I probably should have done the same, but I wasn't really checking the weather radar at the time, but I knew that I could sit out there and shoot and this camera wouldn't let me down, and it was amazing. Obviously, I'm not in Australia shooting motor racing anymore. I'm here in the UK shooting more landscape, photo and video stuff. But this thing still doesn't let me down. You know, I sling it over my shoulder for hikes. It takes photos in the snow, same thing. It's an absolute workhorse. Let's get into the pros of the Canon 1DX Mark II. Firstly, it's bloody good. But what about the motion JPEG, blah, blah, blah? We'll get to that. It's motion JPEG, we all hate it. But besides that, it is a top-notch camera. Ergonomically, it's great. It feels amazing. I've got big, weird spider hands, so my hands fit perfectly around the camera. I feel a bit weird when I go back to a 5D Mark III or a Canon A7S. Battery grip is amazing. I love it so much. I love being able to flip it there and still have that shutter button there. The screen is amazing as well. It's touchscreen, it's sharp, it's colorful, it's bright. You can get your focus right if you're using manual. I've had no issues whatsoever with this. The bigger sensor is great for low light. When you're cranking up those high ISOs, I can probably shoot around 5000 ISO before I can get, oh, that's a bit too much. I've shot with that before. Sometimes depending on what you need to do, you can put it back into an editing software and it looks good as new. The dual pixel autofocus is amazing. I love the touchscreen autofocus on the back. It has saved my life so many times, especially on gimbals. To track subjects at f1.8 is unreal, but sometimes it can be really loud. If you're doing piece to cameras, I notice mine makes an absolute racket sometimes when I'm trying to track focus. Water and weather resistant, amazing. Like I said earlier in the video, snow, rain, thunderstorms, whatever, slung it over my shoulder, does everything. 120 frames or 100 frames on this camera is amazing. Sometimes it can be a little bit soft, but the way the footage comes across is so smooth. I shoot most of my footage using it, and because the camera is so heavy, you get a nice balanced shot even using handheld. It's amazing. Let's talk about the cons of this camera. Firstly, motion JPEG. Why? Why motion JPEG? I'm not going to go into why motion JPEG is bad because it's a whole rant, but 4K motion JPEG, no. And I think they fixed this on the Canon Mark III, the 1DX Mark III, but I haven't checked. But for this camera, big no. But on that note, the 4K is sharp and I love it. I love shooting in 4K, it is sharp, but just motion JPEG is just Another con of the 1DX Mark II, as much as I love it, is the weight. For someone like me that does landscape photo and video and travels quite a bit, it is heavy. It's heavy to throw in your backpack to do as a run and gun, or when you're doing a hike and you want to have it on your arm to, snap a photo while you're hiking. It can be heavy, and when you're my height at 6'6", sometimes it can even do your back out. Price on this camera was insane when I first bought it. I thought it ticks all my boxes of what I need, and thankfully I was able to afford it, but geez Louise, this is a pricey camera. I think Australian was nearly $10,000 when I first bought this. I think you can get it for quite a bit cheaper now that 1DX3 is out, but price. I'm happy to pay the price for the results the Canon gives. I love the Canon look, I love the Canon color, the skin tones and stuff like that. So it's not too much of a big deal, but just would like a budget option maybe. No C-Log. I don't really understand why. I have downloaded Philip Bloom's C-Log for the camera. You can get that. It's not an official C-Log, but I still use it and it helps with dynamic range because the dynamic range in the video is not amazing. Sometimes my skies are way too blown out or my shadows are way too crushed. So that is a bit of an issue. The charger size. Let me go get my charger really quick and I'll show you. It's massive. The batteries on the Canon 1DX Mark II last me a long time and I've only got one of them and it's never really let me down. They are expensive to buy a new battery. I think about 300 quid, something like that. but they're worth it. And that battery charger is bloody massive. Not too much of a big deal, but it's just a bit of a pain in the ass to fit in your camera bag as well. Flip screens. I'm a bit of a fan of flip screens. I use the Sony a7S a couple times, and I do love a good flip screen, especially at my height. Got to get low all the time to get to people's eye level. Would love a flip screen on this thing. I know it's a bit of an ask because it's already a chunky beast and amazing, but maybe for the 1DX Mark IV, flip screen would be good, Canon. And for my last con, CFast cards. I know people are not too bothered because of the bit rates you get out of them and stuff like that, and they're a bit more reliable. I know people where 2 of them have died on them and they cost a fortune. I've only got one, and it doesn't hold that much 4K footage. I think it's like 9 minutes or something of 4K footage because of those bit rates. You can do a CF card, but obviously you're just not getting as much juice as a CFast card would handle. In conclusion, this thing is amazing. I know I had a couple cons on there, but that shouldn't put you off buying this thing. I know the 1DX Mark III is coming out very soon, or if not out, but this doesn't mean you should be looking over the Canon 1DX Mark II, especially if someone's selling one secondhand. You know that it will probably be in good nick because this thing can probably take a bullet and still run. I love this camera so much, and if you guys have liked this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, or leave a comment on your experiences with the Canon 1DX Mark II, or if you have any questions I'm happy to answer, let me know down below. Thank you so much, guys. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one. Peace.